How do I start this thing?
Lean your head back and then lean forward.
Yeah, I know the motion, but now that one, I'm like hyper focused on the motion right now. What do I say? And welcome to
there
a
it
brand
is.
new episode of the 60-second car. We're on minute 28. We are not joined by any guests today. It's just us two. You're gonna get us two in the lovely little very intimate setting. I'm joined by the co-host, as always, the one with the most, Mr. Daniel. And my name is Dan, and we're going to jump right into minute 28. Just play that music!
60-second code.
And welcome back to the 60-second car. It is time to jump into minute 28. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
Hi, doing swell. My fingers are now tired after playing the theme live, like I do every time we do a show.
You played on a full
very hard.
MIDI board, right?
Yeah, it's very several MIDI boards because it's multi-tracks, but I make it work, and I appreciate you cutting away every time I do. That way, people don't see me sweat. It's very embarrassing.
But I wish you kind of had a camera on it, because like you have both cats doing some of the side instruments, right?
It's true. Yes. They're mostly holding things down for me, and I just like little adjustments, but like they're getting there. They'll have their own guitars soon.
You don't have to use a looping machine. You just have that going. I love it. All right. That's one of these days, if we get like, let's say 100 million likes on one of these videos, then we'll show that perspective.
Yep.
But yeah, we're talking about minute 28, which if you listen to the last episode, we just got pulled over in a way by a gang of dudes with their women passengers on bikes, on crotch rockets. And as we've established in the last episode, we finally have a group of people who like to carpool.
Yeah. Finally, some environmentalists in these damn movies.
Right. Environment. Yeah, they're carpooling. They're riding bikes, which is far more efficient and economical. So yeah, I mean, we have it. One thing I mentioned last episode that I think the first shot we have here actually answers is I do believe that we're in Chinatown. We're at a Chinese food market, actually, or at least we're pulling into one to go around the back, I think.
This place, is T&K food real? Because this sign looks fake.
I was gonna look it up before the podcast and I forgot. But it looks really nice. What's on top there, you think? I don't know what is it like, are those birds or is that bird poop?
Oh, I'm gonna go bird poop.
Right. I don't know what the heck that is.
Something just occurred to me.
Okay.
So
Food market,
the bike gang pulls over Dom and Brian when they're rolling around, and they theoretically don't know who Brian is. How do they know this car that Dom's in it? Does somebody see Dom in the passenger seat, or are they following them after the race?
That is a great question.
Thank you.
Because I hadn't thought about that either.
It just dawned on me right now.
I will show that this is the food market that they are pulling into. We can see it on screen. It is T&K Food Market. It is in Westminster of Los Angeles, which I do believe is Chinatown. It's a pretty big spot. It's like a Costco in there. But yeah, no, it absolutely exists.
It's like a Chinatown La Superior.
Kinda, yeah. I would think so. So wait, where exactly is this? Oh, it's actually maybe not Chinatown. It's pretty far south. Wait, hold on. Okay.
Okay. We just broke this movie, didn't we?
We did, because I don't want to show this because I don't want anything to pop up that's sensitive material. But look up downtown Los Angeles, and then look up T&K Food Market. Let's see. Can I quickly draw a thing here? So let's say downtown Los Angeles. It is roughly, actually I can get you exactly. It says right now it's a 45-minute drive. I don't believe that, but it is 35.3 miles away, which in Los Angeles might as well be another country.
From Chinatown?
From Chinatown, basically, yeah.
Well, look,
It's right above Huntington Beach. It's just to the west of Santa Ana, and it's Orange County, which, as most people will tell you, is not Los Angeles.
No, yeah, I'm looking at a map now. That I wouldn't call that LA.
It is very far. So maybe that's how they lost them. They drove for an hour.
There's a lot of stuff they didn't show us where they're just going south. They're like, go past Disneyland. Well, I know a place where we can hang out where we'll be safe.
So let's say there's no traffic and it took like 45 minutes. What else were they talking about?
It's really weird how your floorboard is retractable. Like you just sucked it back up so I could put my feet back down.
That's true. It is true because there's no like wind happening in those scenes either.
Dom isn't sitting weirdly with his like legs propped up on the door,
right.
Or like seems rather comfy.
Right, exactly. It's weird.
Where'd your laptop go?
Where'd that laptop go? Oh, I crushed it and threw it out the window. Oh, my bad. Another reason I thought we were in Chinatown is there's a giant Confucius marble statue.
Dude, this thing gets such a long shot too. They pan the entire thing to be like, this is Chinatown.
Yeah. I mean,
where's this Confucius statue? Because I think this is real too.
I mean, it's got to be next to that sign, right? I would assume.
I realize I'm Googling Confucius statue LA, and there's probably more than one.
Yeah, I have no idea. Can we go Confucius statue near what was this called? T and K? Yeah.
T and K, yeah.
T and K Market. The T and K Market shows up. I don't see the Confucius statue. But I do see a lot of Confucius statues.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding as well.
Yeah. I found the sign, the actual sign, because what I showed you before was the actual market, but here's the sign.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
It's been cleaned up. There's not bird poop over there anymore.
Thank God.
But yeah, there's the sign. It's beautiful, very pretty. I will say that while getting the screenshots for this episode and the next episode, they do some pretty cool little like shots to cover everybody, and it's nice looking.
So I pulled up T&K Food Market because I was trying to find out what T&K stands for. I didn't get that far. Instead, I wound up on Foursquare, which I didn't realize was still a live website. This is in Little Saigon of Orange County. So
Little Saigon.
They went to a different Chinatown, I guess.
Yeah. Little Saigon. That's where Saigon lives from Entourage.
Should I watch that show?
Should you watch that show? No.
Okay.
Not unless you're really into learning kind of the ins and outs of how Hollywood kind of works. So that show, first of all, is a problematic show because they're pretty homophobic. They use quite a few different slurs. They make fun of each other in the same way that I think people did in like the 80s. So using things like that, you can probably imagine that world. It's a weird show. I like watching it because I think they do a very good job at showing the relationship between like a A-list actor and their agent/agency and how they work with studios and stuff like that. So actually, for those that are into whatever's happening, we're also recording this during the time of both the WGA, the Writers Guild Association, or the Writers Guild of America. So the writers of all your favorite movies and TV shows are currently on strike. Not my favorite movies. Huh?
Not my favorites. Not my guys. I go non-union all the time. Nope.
So the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, who is the guild that has all your favorite actors. No, not them either. Favorite actors.
Big Rob Schneider guy.
I think he's SAG. Yeah.
I would assume he's SAG. I just picked a guy who I know is like anti-woke comedy. He sucks. Fuck
sure.
him. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. He sucked.
As a joke. Anyway.
But yeah, they're all on strike right now. So as much as you're not going to learn anything about how strikes work from that show, you kind of learn the relationships between each other and how it's very easy to understand that studios who cast actors, they butter people up and they basically lie to them a lot of the time in order to get what they want so they can make billions of dollars. And you won't understand the AI part of what's happening right now, but you'll understand that nobody with that much money really cares about even actors with a bunch of money. So the whole reason that they're striking would probably make more sense if you watch that show. That stuff I find extremely fascinating from Entourage. The rest of it, it's a problem.
What will I learn about if I instead watch Jersey Shore like I have been? Skin tanning?
Is that technically tanning?
Yeah, they make a whole thing about tanning in it.
Oh, really?
They talk about it a lot.
I've seen The Situation once.
Oops.
How
was that?
He's kind of a small guy,
Great.
but plays very big. You know, surrounded by like 4 bodyguards.
Oh.
I don't know. It was my 21st birthday. We were in Las Vegas. I was playing craps for the first time. Had no idea what was going on, and he just kind of walked by with his bodyguards. Yeah, that tan is jarring to see for the first time. It does not look natural.
None of them look healthy.
No, that's the show with Snooki, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is like a weird thing that Katie Bear trash washed when she was younger, and we were bored, and like without diving into it, some like life stuff's been iffy here. We're fine, but we've just been like trying to find dumb escapism entertainment, and I put that on and was just like immediately like, okay, I see why people like this. And I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm like, these people are all mean to each other for a sport, and I hate them.
Yep, absolutely.
And I can't turn away. But yeah, so I'm slowly learning about Ron Juice, not wearing a shirt all the time, going out clubbing, which was never my scene, and it seems exhausting. They go out at 10:30 at night. Excuse me, I've been asleep for a half hour.
I did that last time I was in Vegas for an AMD event, which was just last October, and it kind of just sat there because I did not have the energy for it. But we were in the club doing the things.
You know, it'd be good club attire. Watch this segue. Some sweet snakeskins pants.
Oh, baby.
Sorry, I realized we were just off a completely different tangent for a while, trying to get us back. Did you have more on the Confucius statue?
Not the Confucius statue, I don't think. No.
Okay.
Snakeskin pants. That is. Oh, yes. I was gonna. So we have a lot of snakeskin pants here, of all different colors and varieties. You're absolutely correct here. Before that, we have our face reveal of our main bad guy, or bad guy. I don't know. He's there. I guess he is a pretty big role here, right? Because he's the guy that, like, not only Brian wants to be a certain person, but I think gets to the point where the audience wants to be a certain person, right? It feels like, because he's a scapegoat, right? And I feel like at some point the audience probably doesn't believe that's how that's supposed to work, but wants it. They want him to be the guy.
Oh, I see. Yes.
What's his name? Johnny? I think his name's Johnny Tran.
Real name or character? I have real name.
I was talking about character, but you have the real name, please.
I have Rick Yoon.
Is that his name? Rick
Yoon.
Yoon. Y-U-N?
Y-U-N-N-E.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so yes, we have our now establishing character shots of Mr. Rick Yoon. I think his name is Johnny Tran.
Yes, you're right.
And they're being pulled over, and they're here. So we're introduced to his cousin, which, man, I can only believe that he's in this crew specifically because they're family.
Yeah.
He feels like a guy that he would not want to be associated with professionally.
Yeah, so this other dude, I have more on him in the next minute, but Lance.
No, but we'll get to your favorite portion here. Your
Those all things?
no butt the snakeskin pants.
Wow.
Which they hold on for a while. They hold on this frame
They do.
for a
That's
good minute.
Clearly why I got in the notes, because I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, which is interesting because I don't think they do that too much with guys in this series. I think it's like one of the only times they really like hold on a man's butt.
Do people generally who ride like Honda type motorcycles, not your Harleys, still dress like in certain pants, like leathers and your denims? Like, is snakeskin good for if you fall? I would
say
not.
probably.
Oh, yes.
I would say probably. Depending on like if it's like real, it has to be probably expensive. And
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately, that means you're probably going to ruin the pants. But if it's expensive like snakeskin, it probably holds up when you fall. It probably slides, which is what you want.
You shred it right off and you have more skin.
Yeah, exactly. You could it's called the reptile slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if that's true, but I would
Sounds not
imagine
true.
so. I would absolutely imagine so. The people I see riding crotch rockets like this nowadays are either military personnel, because it's just the easiest thing to get in and on and off a base. I think I always see people in fatigues and camos driving home or to work.
How do you see them if they're in camo?
I see the bike, and if I don't see a person, I assume.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I just assume.
Either that or Transformer.
Also, there's a backpack. They usually have a backpack or a transformer. Interesting. I still need to see that movie. Is it out yet? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Beast Wars.
I'm in no rush to see it.
I want to see it. That is my trash action movie that I think that is just stupid, but I have so much fun watching it.
I saw the second one in theaters with my best friend who had seen it like 4 times in theaters.
4 times?
And when the credits roll, I screamed at them, "Why have you seen this 4 fucking times? Why was SpongeBob doing a black scent?" Because it's Tom Kenny doing like an African American stereotype sort of voice.
Wait, who does Tom Kenny play?
One of the cars who talks like.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that at all. I mean, Tom Kenny is kind of a weirdo in a lot of ways. Tom Kenny Can you type like you're typing into Google in IMDb? No, not really. Tom Kenny in Transformers 2 specifically.
Yes.
I don't know. It's not going to tell me. He as well as the Autobots. Oh, he plays 2 Skids and Wheelie. Oh, he plays those guys?
Yeah.
He plays them in multiple movies. I know who they are from like I think number 4, and they might even be in Dark of the Moon is another one they're in. In fact, they make a big deal about them returning to the movie.
Now,
I didn't know that was him at all. What the hell?
I haven't watched one since 2 when I got very mad at that.
It's
weird. Do they do like some fast stuff where they resurrect cars that have exploded in past movies and they're suddenly okay again?
Not really. I think if they die, they die.
They get crushed in a little cube.
Speaking of fast, isn't Tyrese in that series?
Again, I stopped at 2. I know at one point there's a Shia LaBeouf, then there was a Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
And now I don't think either one of them are in it.
I think Mark might still be in it in some way. I don't. Oh, but this one's a prequel, so I don't know. But yes, Tyrese Gibson is one of the main like human special forces guys in the Transformers movies, along with that Harkett guy or whatever.
Here's what they got to do, because we've made this joke before. I've seen this joke online. Now that I know Tyrese is in these movies, they can easily make it to where Roman's past is the Tyrese, or is the Transformers universe, and weave him in that way. The same way that Justin Lin decided Han from Better Luck Tomorrow is now a character in Tokyo Drift and now a character in the overall franchise. It seems like it's right there.
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of room for that. In fact, today when I was coming home today, I was thinking about like, and I was going to ask you if you had ideas for this. How could we tie in either Sylvester Stallone, Nick Cage, or Arnold Schwarzenegger into the Fast and the Furious movies? Arnold probably wouldn't fit because of The Rock. It'd be too much beef, maybe.
Maybe.
Like physical, literal beef, not like emotional beef.
If it came out that like Arnold was like the birth father of Jacob, that would make sense. Like, turns out that he's like Dom's stepdad. Mm-hmm. Like, or fuck it, it could be like his dad's not dead. It's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger now. Change the race completely, like they did his son. Yeah, they did that with his kid. It's fine.
Sure.
Then Nick Cage. I feel like now that you have Jason Momoa being chaotic, you can't have Nick Cage.
I don't buy that at all. I have to hard disagree.
I feel like if Nick Cage could have been in that role instead of Jason Momoa, you can't have two of those people.
Oh man, but how? But there's gotta be a way. There's gotta be a way. Like, okay, Nick Cage's character from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Sure, he just rolls in his own car and like, hey, get in.
In Eleanor, right? Yeah, yeah. Rolls up in Eleanor, is just ready to go.
Who's your third person?
Sylvester Stallone.
Now
he comes in Optimus Prime because he's his character from Over the Top, the trucker.
Oh, better. Great, you did it. I was thinking like you could do like a tiny part like he had in Guardians 2 where he's just like there and he's like glaringly out of place and he's like, oh, kind of a side character in a bar. No, he should be in a bar that Dom goes to hide in when he's hiding from whatever the next level of Cypher's thing is. They're like doing God's Eye again.
Like the test scene?
I'm thinking like 8 when he's like dips in the bar to meet up with Helen Mirren. So it's one of those. He dips into a bar. It's a dive bar, and Sylvester Stallone is there doing arm wrestling with somebody, and he has to beat him in order to get like his respect to get him on his team. And it's a draw because Dom can't lose, and Stallone will not lose to Vin Diesel. So it's a draw. He gets his respect anyway. He joins the family.
When they're arm wrestling, the thing that they're holding on to is a 8-ball from their shifter.
Yep. Cool.
I'm totally down for that. Have you seen Over the Top?
No.
Over the Top's a good one. Over the Top is Sylvester Stallone. He's a trucker, and the whole movie is about how he's a really good arm wrestler, and he gets to the point where so at the beginning of the movie he picks up his son, who doesn't know him very well because he's been at military school forever, and he picks up his son because the mother requested to go pick him up and stuff like that. Anyway, no spoilers. I find out that he's a renowned arm wrestler, and he does it all the truck stops, and there's a bunch of truckers that like respect him but also hate him and want to beat him. Anyway, when they get to actual like arm wrestling portions of the movie, they are absolute animal maniacs screaming at the top of their lungs, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It is insane. But yes, the whole movie is about him winning his son back via an arm wrestling event in Las Vegas to win a truck so he can have his job back.
Oh, I thought the kid was like part of the truck. It's like when you go to a car show and there's the girl next to it. Oh, do you come with the car? Oh, you.
I mean,
there's your Simpsons reference of the episode.
There's weird stuff like that. You should definitely watch it. I would recommend it. I think you'd like it. Even if it is Sylvester Stallone. But it is Sylvester Stallone in the 80s, which is a tad different. Yeah,
I'm sending a note right now.
It is an 80s movie. It's worth a watch, I think. Anybody watching this, in fact, if you didn't see it, I did a D&D character called it was like Ryan Over the Top Johnson or something like that. And his whole move was ringing people into an arm wrestling match, and if he won, they ripped their arm off or something like that.
I like how your character had a name like a 1970s wrestler, where it was like their real name, but in the middle it was like some insane title. Jerry the King Lawler, for example.
Well, the reason I came up with it because the show that we did is a one-off show where they were like, it's basically a wrestling match. You know, you're gonna PvP each other. It's gonna be 1v1 inside of a pit. I was like, I'm just gonna dive right in. I'm gonna lean really far into the whole wrestling thing and make that name.
Perfect.
Because if you watch the movie, they basically are Dungeons and Dragons barbarians. They are insane. It's crazy. But as we are back to this, speaking of insane, look at the no life in this guy's eyes. That as he points his gun at Brian here.
That's the kind of guy you need with a gun on your team. He has no emotion. He'll pull the trigger if he has to. It's just business.
It's true. He is the guy the enforcer, as you may say.
Yeah.
He'll do whatever. He actually does do whatever his older cousin says, I think.
Look, my older cousin told me to shoot somebody. I'd probably do it too. I understand hierarchy in family.
Sure. Yeah. You got to do it. You got to listen to your elders, right? And then we get to the point where Johnny asks Brian, "Is this your car?"
Mm-hmm.
And then they have this weird. I think it's pretty obvious, but I want to make sure. Dom is trying to. He knows they're gonna mess with this car, right?
Oh, probably. But also, technically speaking, this is now Dom's car.
Well, that's what Brian says.
Yeah.
Brian says, "Well, it's not anymore. It's his." And then that's when Dom comes back with the argument. It's like, "No, it's not. I didn't take delivery." Trying to save it, I guess. So
yeah, maybe
Dom, I guess, cares about Brian at the moment, or he cares about his car, I guess.
Well, he knows where they are and probably has to figure out a way home.
That's true. Which
like,
brings up a whole new fold to what we'd figured out. Was that today? Was that this episode or last episode? If they're if they're here,
no.
they. Oh, I guess they didn't necessarily walk home, but they were gonna. They mentioned about we have a pretty long walk. Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I think there might even be a line that talks about the distance, right?
There's a line where they talk about going on a long hike.
What we're learning is these guys are a bunch of liars. You ever trust your filmmakers and you think you can trust them and be like, you won't lie to me, right? Well, the writers of this movie have all lied to us. They are
and
not.
This is why we don't support the strike, right?
Wait,
what? That's why we're not supporting the strike, because they're liars.
Right. This is a far right podcast, and it's a far right podcast, and we totally support everybody just making billions of dollars.
Bob Iger.
Yeah, Bob Iger, come on the show. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Give me Disney passes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I would ask Bob Iger. I have no idea how to talk to him. That'd be insane. But we have this conversation between Brian and Dom. It's like, no, it's another one. And then Johnny comes back. Well, if it's nobody's car, and then I don't know what he says after that. He says something weird.
I only have one quote from this minute in my notes. It's just, you stay away, I stay away, and then
I thought we had a deal. Yeah.
Brian is introduced as the new mechanic, which I thought was a funny thing that Dom's instantly covering for him. Yeah.
He instantly covers for him. He tries to not take the car's ownership. So, and that could be, that could absolutely be because he doesn't want the car destroyed because it's his car now. But it could also be seen as him trying to protect Brian more.
I mean, in a future minute, he calls out that Brian's the one that saved his ass. So maybe he's trying to make it square now.
He might already have that respect for sure. But he does open this with exactly after the line you just said with, "We got lost." They got very lost.
Yeah.
If they're out here. Because I don't know what sort of fiction are they trying to put together. So obviously, if you live in LA, you know where these guys probably are, and you know that it's pretty far away. But for those that don't know, the world they're trying to put together, because they don't really establish it until well after this, where they have to several mile hike or whatever. Did Dom grow up here and know all these streets? How did they get lost?
Maybe he didn't actually get lost.
But he must have, because he should have known that they shouldn't have been driving through here, right?
Maybe like he was distracted by not being able to put his feet down. They were in this deep conversation about their criminal past. He got distracted by all that and never looked up because he's like, "Oh man, I want my boots to fall off or whatever." And then when he finally is like, "Oh, who are these motorcycle guys?" Brian made a left. We should have made a right.
You know what happened? Yeah, exactly that. But like, I'm picturing it. Dom started thinking about his time in prison and started getting like upset, and he did the whole, when somebody's just looking out the window and daydreaming, and Brian's driving, he's driving and he keeps peeking over, like smiling, like, I can't believe we got Dominic Toretto in my car right now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Is this real life? And keeps pinching himself. And so they just drove for 40 minutes.
And the vrooms took them all out of it. And they're like, oh no.
Oh no. Oh, he just smells gasoline vapors and starts getting delirious. But yeah, they got very lost. That's for sure. That's the last screenshot I have. Do we have anything else for this?
I don't believe so. That is the end of my notes on this minute.
So we have I don't know if he says it yet, but he's starting to say it where it's not my car, I haven't taken delivery, that's his. Oh no, or is this scene where, this screenshot right here, he's pointing at Brian talking about how he's the new mechanic, right?
Yes, I believe so.
That must be, okay, that makes sense.
A couple of things you have said do dip in the next minute, but it's fine.
I'm getting confused with it. That's my fault.
I mean, when we're in conversations like this, and it's harder to kind of distinguish where we're at. So I understand.
Yeah,
you better understand, listener.
If you're listening or watching this podcast, you kind of know we're all over the place. Hopefully,
we try our best.
I don't know.
No, we don't. Okay.
I don't know.
I have tried my best before.
Maybe I'd have. Do you know if you've tried your best? Do you know?
I said I tried my best, but I don't know.
Does anybody know what their best is? Is that a thing?
I say
know?
Whenever I play a show and I know a hard part in a song is coming up, I try really hard not to mess up. That might be me trying my best.
Maybe,
but
yeah, right? Maybe
that's just focusing a little more. And is that my best? Is my best 101%?
Sure. It's yeah. I imagine that the BT Bam bassist, while playing the bass line in prequel to the sequel, is probably trying his best.
I feel like those guys don't even try those lines.
They do seem very naturally talented and just kind of go.
It's so frustrating.
They are very good at what they do. And the song prequel to the sequel, listen to it, guys. The bass line is quite sick. I was weird. So I was talking to Katie about this because I did text. We're at the end of the episode. We'll close it out here in a second. But I did text Daniel asking what his favorite BT Bam was, and that question could mean anything. So obviously he follows with song or album. Favorite song happened to be from the same album, which is nice. We were talking about colors, and we were talking about the prequel to the sequel, which I talked to Katie. I go, we both naturally came to the same conclusion on what our favorite BT Bam was. And then I listened to it with Katie, and I was like, and then I started listening deeper to the bass. Is that your favorite song because of the bass?
You're talking about how great the bass line is. I couldn't tell you how the bass line goes.
Oh, really? It's really good.
The bass that really stands out to me in BT Bam is the next album, The Great Misdirect. Because I saw them play that album in full 2 years ago or something. And I was like, oh, this is the bass album. And I had no idea. So now I want to go back and listen to Colors and really, pump up the low end. Yeah. Because I know, of course, there's the bass solo before White Walls. And there's a few spots here and there, but all right.
Prequel to the sequel is a very good bass line, and it's got a solo as well. The live album is really good.
Yes.
I do really love the live album. I like the studio album as well, but the live album for Colors is very good. But yeah, there's a lot of that. Anyway, if you haven't figured out from this podcast, this is a 60-second podcast, but we're big metalheads. We talk a lot about that. You're probably gonna know more than I will, and we'll probably answer this in a future episode or whatever. I don't know how many metal songs they play in this franchise.
I think the closest we come might be like rocky new metal sort of stuff, but
like Limp Bizkit and stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Oh, imagine
There's a time
some
and place for
corn
it.
dropping in there. When they're in the desert blowing up the sunshine. I guess this song came out after, but why didn't we hear some BYOB? That would have been interesting. But anyway, if you're having a great time listening or watching this, maybe you listen to the future episodes by subscribing to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Danotage, or make sure you're subscribed and leave us a review over on any of your favorite podcasting apps. You can find us on most of them. If you want to know where you can find us and us individually, Overcord and Danotage, you can go to danotage.tv/60secondcar, and you can check out all the deets and the links over there. My name is Dan, and I've been joined as always by Daniel. And with that, I'll see you all next time.
Family.